Hello and welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. This video we're going to do the second Planeswalker deck from Kaladesh, because these sets only have two Planeswalkers decks. That's going to be Nissa, Nature's Artisan, which is a blue and green deck. So let's jump in, let's look at the deck list here. So we've got 27 creatures, 2 instants, 1 Planeswalker, obviously 5 sorceries, 2 enchantments, and 23 land, and we've got a mana curve off to the side there. Let's dive in, start looking at the deck. So let's take a look at the face Planeswalker, which is Nissa, Nature's Artisan. So 4 and double green for a 5 loyalty Planeswalker. She's got a +3 to gain 3 life, -4 to reveal the top 2 cards of the library, and you put all lands from amongst them onto the battlefield and the rest into your hand. And a big -12 ultimate, creatures you control get +5/+5, gains trample and slender turn. So I don't know how I feel about about this Nissa. I guess +3 is pretty big to gain the loyalty. That's okay. I honestly think you could just bounce between doing the +3 and the -4. Like the -12 feels a little bit like overkill. Obviously, you get to it, that's fine. But that -4 is actually pretty good because it's kind of draw 2, isn't it? But it's better than draw 2 because it's getting you potentially bonus land drops. And it's blue green, so it's a deck with a lot of big fat creatures in it. So I think this is okay. I think in terms of by the standards of like these Planeswalker deck Planeswalkers, I think she's perfectly fine for a casual kitchen table game. Obviously, that big ultimate is very very win more, but Planeswalker ultimates usually are, aren't they? But yeah, I think this is fine. I think I like her more than Chandra Pyrogenius. Like if you were to compare the two to each other. Right, and then Nissa's kind of signature cards, I suppose. So we've got 2 Verdant Crescendo, so it's 3 in the green. You search your library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield tap, so it's rampant growth, and you also search your library or graveyard for Nissa, reveal it and put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. So yep, standard Planeswalker search spell. The fact it does rampant growth is okay. We're sort of at the point in the game now where rampant growth effects are starting to become a bit more expensive now. Like they'll be use like 3 mana now. So really, for the 1 extra, you're just getting the tutor out, which is alright. Her Planeswalker buddy, so we've got 3 Guardian of the Great Conduit, so 3 in a green for a 2/4 with reach, so it's giant spider stats. As long as you control Nissa, Guardian of the Great Conduit has +2/+0 as vigilance, so it becomes just 4. It essentially becomes Sentinel Spider, but for 1 less, but like with a much more difficult condition to reach, which is you've got to have your 1 Nissa out, I suppose. It's still fine. It's giant spider stats, which I mean, again, at this point in the game's history, is actually pretty unexciting, but it is what it is. And then 4 terrain elementals, so 1 in a green for a 3/2, just 3/2 vanilla creature. But only 2 mana to drop that. It's okay. I wonder when we'll get just a 1 in a green for just a 3/3 vanilla, like upgrade over Colonian Tusker all the way back from M14, was it, where we had a 2-drop 3/3? Wonder, we'll see. But yeah, like these are fine. Obviously, like it's nice that her 2, the uncommon and the common are just big BT creatures, so it's fine. Yeah, these are okay. Right, so we're getting to the actual meat of the deck, which is the other blue-green like Kaladesh cards. So the archetype in Kaladesh for blue-green was energy counters, which are a bit notorious because, from what I understand, energy was kind of like the runaway abusable mechanic of Kaladesh. Just because it's from what I understand, like people didn't really like it because it's like a very parasitic mechanic. You got to do a lot of bean counting. It's a whole extra resource to track. I have literally 0 experience playing with any cards with energy, so I can't really comment. I think it's a pretty cool idea in theory, but in practice, I imagine it's actually probably a little bit of a pain to track. And anyway. So one of the rares in the deck is Bristling Hydra. So 2 in double green for a 4/3. When it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy counters, and you can pay 3 energy counters to put a +1/+1 counter on Bristling Hydra and give it hexproof turn. So this is nice, I suppose, because you got like a lot of cards in the deck that care about spending energy or gaining energy. So it's a whole kind of little sub game you've got here, which is kind of interesting. The fact that this can kind of dodge removal by just getting hexproof with no mana investment, but the energy investment. So in some ways harder. harder and some ways easier to get it, I suppose. You'll get a guaranteed one time of doing it because it generates 3 when it comes in. Yeah, so I think Bristling Hydra's okay. I mean, like, even without it, it's what's 4 mana for a 4/3, which is obviously not great. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine, I think. So the other rare is Ether Squall Ancient. So 5 and double blue for a 6/6 flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get 3 NG counters. So yeah, that's really nice. Just every upkeep, get 3 NG counters. You can pay 8 NG counters to return all other creatures to owner's hands. Activate this ability only time you could cast a sorcery. So I mean, if you get that ability off, that's pretty much game, I think. Because if you're just going to sweep the board entirely, yeah, there is obviously a chance that you could. Depending how you've played your cards, you could just drop this ability the turn you play it, which is obviously pretty good. And then it's sort of just going to keep generating energy for your other cards that care about energy. So yeah, I think Ether Squall's pretty good. Obviously, 7 mana is pretty expensive, but it is also a 6/6 flyer. So yeah, I think both these rares pretty good. Then we've got 2 Imperial Voyager, so 1 a green and a blue for a 2/3 with flying and trample, which is fairly decent stats on its own anyway. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, which the trample helps it do that, you get that many energy counters. So this is a nice way of generating more energy. So yeah, I think that's perfectly fine as well. Right, we've got a single Riparian Tiger, so 3 and double green for a 4/4 with trample. When it enters the battlefield, get 2 energy counters. Whenever it attacks, you can pay 2 energy counters. If you do, get +2/+2 turn to turn. So, yep, again, this is kind of okay, I think. What I like with a lot of these, creatures that use energy, they at least provide their own, so you can use their ability like a few times while having need to generate some more. So yeah, it's okay. And also, while you're using energy to pay for these, you've got your mana open to actually cast other spells. So yeah, I could see this playing kind of okay. I'd actually be interested in sort of playing this and seeing how it works out. I got 2 Janjeet Sentry, 2 and a blue for a 2/3. When it ends the battlefield, you get 2 energy counters. You can tap, pay 2 energy, tap or untap a artifact or creature. So having the extra ability to hit artifacts is pretty good actually in Kaladesh because you've got like vehicles and stuff. So you can lock them down out of the way, and a bunch of other artifacts as well with tap abilities that you could kind of lock down for a bit. So yeah, this is okay, I think. And of course, it's just a 2/3 anyway, isn't it? You got 2 Servant of the Conduit, 1 and a green for a 2/2, so just bare stats is absolutely fine. When it ends the battlefield, you get 2 energy counters, and you can tap, pay an energy, and add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. So yeah, it's fine. Yeah, just like Mana Dork. Yeah, it's okay. And yeah, it's not. I would say it's not perfectly Mana Dork because you are spending just 1 resource to get another, so it's kind of like a mana filter, but for energy, I suppose. It's still fine. It helps you power out the bigger things quicker, I suppose. So yeah, it's okay. 2 Long Tusk Cub, 1 and a green for a 2/2. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you get 2 energy counters, and you pay 2 energy counters, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Yep, kind of like a smaller version of the Bristling Hydra, honestly. Got to work a bit hard to get the energy, but I say you've got like lots of other spells and effects in the deck that give you energy. So yeah, I think this could actually get pretty big pretty quickly, I suppose, and then you're getting a lot of value out of a 2-drop. And then we've got 2 Thriving Rhinos and 2 Thriving Turtles. These are basically so similar, I'll just cover them at the same time. So they're fairly bland creatures, a 2/3 and a 0/3. When they enter the battlefield, they give you 2 energy counters, and whenever they attack, you can pay 2 energy to put a +1/+1 counter on them. So yeah, this is fine, I suppose. I think that energy is better spent on other things rather than abilities, especially the Thriving Turtle, because like it's just, I suppose it's a 0/3. You drop it turn 1, swing with it, turn it into a 1/4, and then it's ready to. And then it's around to it can block better in the future. So I don't know. The turtle feels a bit silly in terms of design. The rhino is okay, but I think the Long Tusk Cub is still better. And then a single Sage of Shayla's Claim, so 1 green for a 2/1. When it ends battlefield, you get 3 energy counters. I think the deck could have just used more of these. I would have liked these maybe instead of the Thriving Turtle, just kind of more of these. But then that's all the creatures that care about NG. So then we just got like a few more just to fill out space, honestly. So we've got 2 Arborback Stompers, 3 in double green for a 5/4 trample. When it ends the battlefield, you gain 5 life. Pretty solid, I think, for 5 mana. To have a 5 power trample that also gives you like a fairly decent chunk of life. So I think this is actually pretty good. Really nice, there's 2 of them. And then 2 Longfin Skywhale, 2 in double blue for 4/3 with flying, and it's high flying, so it can only block other creatures with flying. Again, like perfectly big chunky creature in the air. Which is good. You know, you got a lot of stuff on the ground, but having something in the air doesn't hurt either. So yeah, it's all okay. And then just a few non-creature spells to round things out. So we've got 3 Attune with Ether. So 1 green mana, you search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library, and then also get 2 NG. So this is doing like a lot for a single green mana, because like so many other things care about energy. At the very least, this is not only is this searching up land, this is also generating more energy for your other things. So this does a lot for like 1 green mana, and like I really want to. This is why I should have researched before recording the video, but I really want to say this was like one of the problem cards because it like was so efficient at generating like more energy to help fuel the other more like not problematic cards, but just the more powerful cards. But really nice, there's 3 of them. Then we've got 2 Appetite for the Unnatural. This like just naturalized with a bit of life gain. Yeah, it's fine. Plenty of targets for it, I think, if you were playing, Kaladesh, versus Kaladesh, these decks against each other. And then 2 Malfunctions. It's just a dehydration variant. So 3 in a blue, enchants an artifact or a creature. When it enters the battlefield, you tap the permanent, and it doesn't untap during control's untap step. Yep, seen this kind of effect like loads and loads of times. Always think it's a little overcosted, but yeah, it's fine. It's a common, potentially shuts down creatures and vehicles. It's okay. And then we've got 4 Woodland Stream, which it's just enters battlefield tapped and gives you either green or blue, which is fine. Pretty much all the Planeswalker decks have like a basic dual land like this, like a common enters play tapped and gives you, one of the 2 colours. And then 11 Forest and 8 Island. So yeah, I like this one actually more than the Chandra one, I think, just because it's the Chandra one felt. I know it almost felt like it'd be too inconsistent because it had like it had vehicles and a few things that cared about vehicles, but then it had also like a lot of filler, I feel. Whereas this is like it got a tighter focus on the NG cards. But like it wouldn't be one of these videos if we didn't say like, oh, what could have been like some cards I think could have gone here to make maybe things a little better. So maybe as an alternate rare, I was thinking Architect of the Untamed. So it's 2 and a green for 2/3. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you get an NG counter, and you can pay, how many is that? 8. Like I don't know why they did it this way, not just like pay 8. Like 8 the numeral and then NG, but whatever. Pay 8 NG to create a 6/6 colorless beast artifact creature token. I think this would have been better than the Bristling Hydra. I mean, I prefer it to the Bristling Hydra. Because at least it is also, it gives you NG off land drops as well, and then can start showing out 6/6s if you, especially have the other one, the Ether Squall Giant, that's the whale, the big Leviathan that gives you 3 every turn, and then you could maybe start churning out beasts on a fairly regular basis. I don't know, that could have been a possibility. We've got Fabrication module here. This could have been a nice fit, I think. So 3 colors artifact. Whenever you get 1 or more NG counters, you put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control, and then you pay 4 and tap to get an NG. So it's a way of, you benefit from gaining NG because you make your creature stronger, and also it can generate more NG if you need it. So that's okay. And Glimmer of Genius. This could have been really nice in here as well. Maybe instead of the Malfunction, because that feels a bit rubbish. But 3 in a blue. Instant speed to scry 2 and then draw 2 and get 2 NG, so 2/2/2, which is nice. Yeah, again, that would have been good, just a bit of scry, bit of card draw, and gaining more NG. So yeah, that would have been okay. But yeah, so of the 2, I think this is better than the Chandra Pyrogenius deck. Just because the focus on the strategy is a bit tighter. But I'd like to know what you think about this deck. If you had this deck, you got any thoughts or comments or stories or opinions about the deck or any of the cards in it, or what are your opinions on energy? I think that's actually the big question. What are your thoughts on energy as a mechanic? Do you like it, or do you think it's pretty bad, or do you have any experiences with it? Stick a comment below. I'll give those a read. But now we're done with Kaladesh because, as I said, we only have 2 Planeswalker decks per set now. So in the next video, we're going to move on to Ether Revolt. So we'll see you then. But until then, thanks for watching and listening, and have a great day.